Hello nerds, today we're pretending that the day is Monday, April the 8th, 2019, and that this is the 98th game of the Meditations. Well, we're not pretending that, but this is the 98th game of the Meditations, but we're going to pretend that I am filming this on the day. Basically, I came back from EGX Res the day before, and I had a lot of stuff to do on the Monday, and I also had to recover from all of the walking, the talking, the journeying, the travelling, and the sleeping. So, yeah, I still record the gameplay. I was way too busy and way too tired to really sit down and do this, so I just thought I would record the gameplay and do this over it. Today's game was made by Renaud Bedard. I think that's how you pronounce your name, I'm not certain. And he's left a very short blurb for us, which I'll read out for you now. On April the 9th, 2013, my girlfriend and I visited Nara, Japan at the end of the cherry tree flowering season. We mostly came for the deer, but the lasting image in my mind is one of petals filling the sky as the trees got swept by the wind. I've only seen photos of it, and it looks absolutely amazing. I can't imagine what it'd be like to actually be in that. That is something I would love to experience, I have to admit. But this game really does do a good job of giving you some idea of what it's like, and I really respect it for that. So I'll load the game up now. So the controls are very straightforward. It's the arrow keys to navigate and the mouse to look around. Now, I actually played this a few times. The first time I played it, I got very interested in, as you can see, everything sort of blows away. And if I turn around, there you go, you can see just how far out they blow out from the tree. I ended up following it as far out as it went. It goes really damn far, but the game's got quite a limited length of time that it runs, and my first run was literally me just following that trail. I didn't really stay in the cherry blossom too much, so I didn't get to see all the, or really experience the fun of all the leaves being sort of chucked up and flown around as I walked through them. So my second gameplay playthrough, I literally just watched the tree. So this is my third gameplay playthrough, which I think is probably better for a walking, talking kind of video. So as you can see, when you walk into all the petals that are on the ground, they just kind of lift up around you. They often drop back down quite quickly, but you see these little white lines, which are the wind. If you move the petals up when the wind's blowing, it takes them. They go for miles, as you can see just how far out they spread. Initially, I thought as you hit the petals, you kind of collected them. You don't. You brush them up, and they just go with the wind, and they will land somewhere else, which is really cool. Towards the end of the video, you see me watching one petal in particular as it lifts up and just sails off into the distance. As you walk over the petals, they make this very therapeutic sort of musical chiming sound. I can't hear the sound at the moment. I've muted the video, that's why. There we go. Yeah, they sort of, there's this very gentle sort of scale piano thing that's going on in the background. It's very slow, it's just like dun dun. All of the bits in the middle of the song are filled in by hitting the petals, which create notes and just sort of they sort of fill out the music. The game doesn't run for too long though, as you can see. The tree's already pretty bare. The only thing I regret about this video is I didn't look at the tree anywhere near enough, so you don't get to see all the stages of the leaves falling down. But like I said, I'm gonna post up my playthrough of just the tree. I just stood there watching the tree for my second playthrough, so I'll leave that one up as the blind playthrough. So if you want to see the tree just disappear, or the leaves just disappear from the tree. But yeah, I especially loved how just walking over the petals, all the music is sort of completed by touching the petal, how you can watch them just fly off in the distance, how you can see the wind, how it takes them, the distance that they can travel, just how good the tree looks. Like, it doesn't look like a crap tree. It looks like a well thought out and actually designed tree, which is kind of weird. But this is a genuinely very beautiful game, and it feels very in fitting with the theme of Meditations. It's calm, it's relaxing, it's something that's just fun and very pleasant experience just to run around in. One thing that I will note, however, is the game crashed every time it ended. Like, it didn't just shut off automatically. You had to kind of Control-Alt-Delete it or whatever to get it to reset. So, other than that, it ran absolutely fine. So, Renaud is responsible for one of my favourite games, and it's the game that introduced me to the indie scene. Maybe I have a very misguided sense of how important the game is to the indie boom that we've been experiencing this past decade. But he was the programmer responsible for Fez, which I adore. I've actually got a script for a video that I was planning to do way back on games. It hits quite a few lists. It's games that really changed my perspective of games, which is kind of funny because it's a perspective-derived game. But hey, for me, it completely blew me away. I honestly do think it's that good. I started playing it, and it's just a really cute, charming, pixelated 2D platform. And I was like, hey, I like this. This is really cool. And as you keep playing, extra things sort of start getting introduced. Like very early on, you get the ability to rotate the world, and the world, it's hard to explain, but you operate on a 2D plane, but you can manipulate the world in 3D. And what that means is if you've got a platform that in one perspective is really, really far away, but in another perspective it looks like it's really close, you can make that small jump, rotate it back round, and you've cleared that enormous gap. But the thing that really cemented this game for me, and to one of my favourites of all time, was the puzzle elements. All throughout the game, when you're running around, doing whatever you need to do, hopping through doors, collecting cubes, whatever, there are these little symbols that are in the background. And I just ignored them at first, but eventually you find out this, you find this really clapped out little town, and it's got signposts and street signs, there's a classroom in there, and you realise the symbols mean something. And you've been seeing them all around the game, so you're like, oh, what the hell do they mean? Using the clues that are there, you can start to translate what the symbols mean. It's just a cipher, basically. It's nothing particularly complicated. But there's a town where people only talk in these symbols. And by trying to ascertain what certain letters mean and how they work into a sentence and try and complete those sentences and applying that logic and moving forward, you're able to crack the cipher. It had been a long time since I sat down there playing a game. It was me, my brother, and my dad, who hasn't played games in years, sat there with pen and paper and trying to map all these characters out, trying to translate what people were saying, and it was astounding fun. I have not enjoyed a game like that. I don't think in that way, ever. The idea of genuine mystery and genuine discovery was amazing, and I've not seen another game do that before or since. It was a truly unique and incredibly wonderful experience that Fez gave me, so it's one of my all-time favourite games. It's a game that I rate ridiculously highly, and to play Meditation from the guy who programmed it is awesome. I'm actually really pleased to do that. That's really cool. So thank you very much for being pretty much the thing that made Fez go. I've seen that documentary. You did good, son. Well done. He's worked on a lot of stuff since then, but that game was beautiful. I can't recommend Fez enough. I hope that's enough incentives for you to go and have a look at his portfolio, to check out the other games he's done. He's done a lot of Game Jam stuff and a couple of releases from other people as well. I'm sure as hell going to be working through a lot of those games, so yeah, I'll leave a link below to his portfolio. Absolutely go check that out. So I'll leave a link below to Renaud's Twitter, to his portfolio, and I think that's everything. But check out Fez. Assuming you haven't already. I mean, like I said, it's one of the games that I feel really pioneered the sort of the indie movement of the past decade. You got that, you got Super Meat Boy. I can't remember what else sort of came out in that time period. But you had a bunch of these really powerful, very influential indie titles that came out on the Xbox 360 on the Live Arcade, and they just sort of, at least from my perspective, this may be incredibly mistaken, but from the way I see it, really just pushed indie gaming forward and really made people realise, oh, hey, this is actually not just viable, but awesome. There are some amazing games coming out from this space. Like I said, it's what got my interest in the indie scene. So anyway, yes, a huge thank you to Renaud for making today's game, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.